We have our sponsors from East Cambridge Savings Bank with us as well. They'll be able to take a few questions at the end as well. But first, I want to introduce you to SCORE. If you are not familiar, the main focus of SCORE is to provide information for the small business community. And we do that in a few different ways. One is through our website, score.org. A lot of great information on the website. You'll find templates that you can download. You're going to find previously recorded webinars, blogs, articles, lots of great information. So, I would love to invite you to take a look through and see what we have there to offer. The other way we share information is through our webinars and workshops. And those newsletters come out a couple times a week. And you can also find that listing on the website as well. So if you aren't getting our website or our newsletter, you'll be added to the list after today. And if you want to continue receiving those, it'll be explaining all the future events we have coming up. I think the most important thing that SCORE does, though, is our mentorship program. And our mentors are volunteers, and they come to us from a variety of backgrounds and a variety of experiences. And they are looking to give back to the small business community. We're working with folks that are trying to decide if small business ownership is right for them. We're working with those that are in that planning phase, and we are working with those that are already in business. We're able to match you to a mentor based on your questions and your business type so that they can give you the best information possible to help you achieve your goals and overcome any challenges that you might be facing. It's very easy to get a SCORE mentor. Score.org website. You're going to find a blue box asking for your zip code. You just put your zip code in, and that'll match you to the chapter that is nearest you. And then they'll ask you a couple of questions, and we'll use that information to help match you to the mentor that can best assist you. So I strongly encourage you to not only go to that score.org website to find information, but to register to get a mentor to assist you. So we're going to use a Q&A today, just for a little bit of a logistics here. Q&A on your Zoom bar, and that'll be to submit questions to our presenters. And that'll allow me to not lose track of things in chat, because sometimes chat can get rolling and you can lose track of those questions. So please put the questions for the presenter or either of our bank representatives today into chat. So as we get going, I do want to introduce Robert Nichols from East Cambridge Savings Bank. He would like to say a few words as we get started.
Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate that. And thank you, everyone, for joining the webinar this afternoon. It's nice to be back with SCORE. SCORE has been a great partner to work with, and we continue and are willing to provide these outstanding workshops. East Cambridge Savings Bank is a mutual savings bank. We're not a publicly traded company, and we do not have investors. Mutual savings banks have been around for quite a while, since the early 19th century, and are still quite common in New England. Our bank was founded in 1854 and has been operating with the same name and charter since then. We have never been acquired or sold to a larger bank. Since East Cambridge Savings Bank is a mutual bank and doesn't have shareholders, we tend to reinvest profits locally through mortgages, loans for small businesses, and supporting nonprofit organizations. Thank you, and back to you, Teresa.
Okay, thanks, Robert. And as I mentioned, Robert and Seth will be staying on this call and will join us at the end should you have any questions today related to the bank, and they'll be happy to answer those questions for you. So I'm going to introduce now from the SBA, Shelly Gillis.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thanks a lot for having me. Let me share my screen here. So I am going to be talking with you today from the SBA. And the SBA, for those of you who don't know, is the Small Business Administration. Sorry, having trouble with my mouse again. I knew this would plague me. Here we go. We're the federal agency that was created to support small businesses. Our tagline is powering the American dream. So I'm going to go through a lot of the resources and things that we have that can help you with your small business. We were created in 1953. We're not quite as old as the bank, but we were created during the Eisenhower administration with the sole purpose of supporting small businesses. We help people get planning and getting started. We help people manage them and help to grow the business. So we are the go-to resource. We help businesses in a variety of ways. My favorite thing, one of the things that we're really known for, is the free business counseling. And I'll talk more about the different partners that we have, but certainly we're grateful to SCORE for having us here today. We also provide access to capital, and I'll talk about the variety of ways that we do that as well. We can help people grow their business by getting into procurement or federal government contracting. And then we certainly help businesses recover with our disaster loan program. So you probably see some businesses here that you recognize, and these are not really small businesses anymore, but of course they all started out small. One thing that they all have in common is they got to where they are today with some form of SBA help. So we always look forward to hearing success stories, hearing about folks that are able to grow their business with our help, and look forward to the day when we can put those logos on this slide. This is a screenshot of our website. Our website is sba.gov/MA, and there's a treasure trove of information on this website. We do have 2 offices in Massachusetts. The main office is in Boston. We're at the Tip O'Neill building, just next to the garden. We also have one branch office out in Springfield, but we cover the entire state, and we're happy to help businesses everywhere in the state. We realize that business owners are super busy. You're wearing a lot of hats, have all kinds of different priorities, and don't necessarily have a lot of time to attend things like this webinar. So there's a lot of information on our Learning Center on that website. There's a variety of online courses for everything from getting started to growing and beyond. These are all free. They range from 7 minutes to 20 minutes in a variety of different topics. There's another platform that we developed as well that was originally developed for women entrepreneurs, but certainly anybody can use this. And it's at ascent.sba.gov. This has a lot of different journeys. There are all kinds of fireside chats, different infographics, a variety of different learning tools here. So these 2 sites are, they're on the internet. So the internet is open 24/7. You can do these in the middle of the night or whenever you have time. But I encourage you to go visit that website and see the different learning tools available. So I did mention our resource partner network. All of our resource partners are approved and funded, at least in part, by the SBA. You can find them on our website, but I'm going to tell you briefly who they are. Teresa gave an introduction to SCORE, and I don't think I can do any better than that. SCORE is a fantastic organization. It's like having a free business coach to help you, and people pay thousands of dollars for that. One of the other partners that we work with is the Massachusetts Small Business Development Center Network, the MSBDC. These are located in different places across the state, offer a variety of resources as well. And again, free and confidential business advising. We also have our export center and the Apex accelerators, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. But all of the MSBDCs are typically located at colleges and universities. Several of them are affiliated with UMass in Massachusetts, and as well as Salem State and Clark University. And then the Center for Women in Enterprise, cweonline.org is where you find them. They have two different offices in the state. One's in Boston and it's actually in Worcester now, not Westboro. But they have a lot of different opportunities for networking. You don't have to be a woman to use these services either. They offer a lot of one-on-one legal counseling and different courses too. And then for our veteran business owners, we have the Veteran Business Outreach Centers. These are located in all of the New England states, and we highly encourage our veterans to reach out. These are services for not only veterans, but also military spouses. So again, this is our list of resource partners. We don't just encourage people to reach out to one of them. We actually encourage people to reach out to all of them. Statistics show that businesses have a lot higher revenues when they use these resource partners rather than just trying to go it alone. And then, of course, access to capital. The SBA can help you with that. We definitely provide all kinds of, or a variety of different loans and just to help with small businesses. We offer microloans and SBA-backed loans. They have competitive terms. Some of these loans come with counseling and education pieces. So the SBA guarantee is something that was created to help small business owners. In a perfect world, if you're a small business owner, you can go to a lender and you check all the boxes. You've got a great credit history, great credit score, you have experience management, you've got generous collateral, you have a great business idea and financial reserve. A lender is not going to have a problem making you a loan because they have reasonable guarantee that you'll be able to pay it back. What the SBA guarantee does is if you go to a lender and you don't actually check all of their boxes, somewhere in the middle of this chart, maybe you don't have, as much, maybe your credit isn't as great as the bank would like you to have or the lender would like you to have. They will go to the SBA to guarantee a portion of that loan, so that will help the bank say yes to you. So these are some situations where lenders might use the SBA guarantee. The whole purpose, lenders want to loan you money. They want to have your business. They want you to do well with your business, but you also have to demonstrate that you'll be able to pay this loan back. So sometimes in these certain situations, if that's not apparently the case, that they will come to the SBA to use the guaranteed loan. If it's a new business or a new business acquisition, startup or certain type of businesses use this. There are just a lot of different ways or a lot of different situations where the SBA comes in. And the SBA guarantees anywhere from, depending on the type of loan, it could be 50% that we're guaranteeing of that loan. It could be 75 to 85% of the loan that we're guaranteeing. So it just depends. And I see somebody was asking about, yes, I will be sending these slides out. So you don't have to take furious notes. It's a lot of information. So the SBA loans can be used in a variety of ways. You can use them to launch or grow or repair a startup. You can use them for revolving credit or for working capital for day-to-day expenses. You can use them to buy or expand facilities. You can use them for inventory or buying new machinery. You can buy them use them for purchasing land or real estate, and also for exporting. So, the SBA and especially the resource partners, can definitely help you getting your documents together, helping you put your best foot forward when you go to apply for a loan. So they can help you put together the business plan, your expenses, your financial statements, and any financial projections as well. And then the resource partners can help you determine your credit worthiness. And we use that 5 C's model. So we look at character, do you demonstrate strength of character? What is your history? And banks will definitely take a look at that. Do you have adequate cash flow to repay the loan? Do you have collateral to offer the lenders? And then looking at any capitalizations plus liquid holdings and earnings. And then are there outside conditions that will affect the ability to repay the loan? So the resource partners want to help you put your best foot forward. And so they'll help you, gather all these documents, understand your story so that you're in the best place when you go to approach a lender. So a little bit about the different types of loans that we have. The 7A loan this is made by private lenders and comes with the SBA guarantee. The maximum loan size on this one is $5 million. And on any loans that are below $150,000, the SBA is guaranteeing 85% of that loan. On any loans above $150,000, the SBA is guaranteeing 75% of that loan. But this year and through the end of September, there are 0 fees on loans that are less than $1 million. And that's 0 fees to you, and that's 0 fees to the lender. So that's great news for this year. And again, you can use the 7A loan. It's probably our most versatile loan. You can use it on a variety of things that are all listed here. And then with the SBA Express loan, these are term loans or revolving lines of credit up to $500,000. And then the SBA is guaranteeing 50% of that loan up to $350,000. Our microloan program, as the name would suggest, these are smaller loans. These are direct loans up to $50,000. These come with an interest rate of between 8 and 13%. Fixed, and then you have up to 6 years to repay. Typically, in these situations, the borrower has been turned down by a conventional lender, and these come with some technical assistance. So these funds can be used for a variety of different things. Again, credit card debt, refinancing, machinery and equipment, inventory, and working capital. And then our 504 loans, these are for bigger projects. These are for capital assets, long-term financing for major assets. These are, they come with below market pricing with a minimum cash injection up to a 25-year term, up to a $5.5 million in SBA-backed debentures. And these you apply through a certified development company. As well. And before I move on from those 3 types of loans, Robert, did you want to have any input on these?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. Thank you, Shelly. I mean, I'm more familiar with the 5. I've done many more 504s. And not overly familiar with the 7A. I know it's not overly complicated, but the 504s are great for real estate purchases because you can qualify for up to 90% financing with only 10% down. So you can hoard more of your capital and redeploy some of that capital for equipment or for just for cash flow starting if you have a whatever it is for your business. So typically a third-party lender such as a bank would finance 50% and 40% would be from the SBA, and again 10% from the borrower.
Thanks. Well, my mouse problems again. All right. So we do have some really helpful loan and lender tools on our website as well. On the right-hand side, I'll talk about the Massachusetts District Office Lender Report. This is a document that you can pull up that lists, I think it goes back for 10 years, the lenders that are doing business in Massachusetts, and it tells you the number of loans that they've made and the size of those loans. So you can see who's active in the state, see if it's your bank that's active in the state, or see who the active lenders are. It can be a helpful tool when you're looking around. But the other really helpful tool is Lender Match. This is a great tool that's on our website. We just made some upgrades to it, so I think it's getting even better. You put in some preliminary information about you and your business and what you're looking for, and interested lenders will reply to you within 2 days. This is not you actually applying for a loan. It's you signaling to lenders that you're interested in finding a loan. So it's a really great tool that you can use, and it's at sba.gov/lender match. In addition to traditional lending and our loan programs, we also offer funding from private investors, and this comes through our small business investment companies. These are private companies that are vetted and overseen by the SBA, and they invest in companies in the form of debt and equity. And then we have grant funding in Massachusetts. A lot of people are always interested in the grants that we have available. We have the STEP grant program, which is the State Trade Expansion Program. That's where the SBA is granting money to the state, and then the state oversees those grants for exporting. We did, in the last year or so, provide some grants to a couple of community organizations who then in turn were using that money to support the business communities in their areas. And then we also do the SBIR STTR grant program. So these are for technology focused small businesses that are in research and development or working on prototypes. And so if you're in any of this space, you can go to the website and take a look at America's Seed Fund and see if your business can qualify for any of those grants. And then, of course, we're always helping to help people build capacity. We want to help businesses grow. With our federal contracting program, the U.S. government is one of the largest buyers of goods and services in the world. And in fiscal year 2022, the federal government spent about $700 billion on all kinds of goods and services. And we honestly buy everything from, toilet paper to paper clips to food and, services, and, as well as the big, airplanes and things like that. But every single federal agency is mandated by law to spend 23% of that budget with small businesses. And they actually have set aside targets. So service disabled veteran-owned businesses, we have to spend at least 5% of the budget with those types of companies. Small disadvantaged businesses is another 5% set aside. Women-owned businesses has to make up 5% of the federal budget with these small business set-aside contracts. Hub zone is the historically underutilized business zone set aside. And if your company or if your business is located in a hub zone, you can qualify for that type of certification. But we want to help people get into, federal contracting because all of the federal agencies are always looking for small businesses. And again, as I said, it's mandated by law that we spend at least 23%. And I've heard that target is probably increasing in the future. So we are definitely looking for people businesses to contract with. So if you think you're ready to think about federal contracting, we can definitely help you with that. Go to the website and take a look at that. We also offer webinars, monthly webinars, just helping people, understand the process, helping people, see if your business is ready and kind of understand the scope of what's involved. So, there are certifications. If you can certify for a particular type of business, then, as I said, you'll qualify for those set-asides. So again, those are, the Hub Zone program, women-owned, service disabled, and then economically disadvantaged. So you can definitely learn more about your eligibility at certify.sba.gov. And then one of our great resource partners, once you're ready and ready to take on those contracts, you should reach out to the Apex Accelerators because those are the experts and the folks that can really help. And then, of course, if you're in contracting, you may need to be bonded to get a contract. And so the SBA does have a surety bond program that guarantees the work. And then in addition to contracting, another great way to grow a business is looking at international trade and exporting. Nearly 96% of consumers live outside the United States. So, if you can tap into some of those consumers, that would be an easy way to help you grow. We can help you, in the counseling and training piece through our export assistance centers and the small business development centers. We can help you find buyers internationally, as I said, through that state trade expansion program. And then we can help you get export funding through Export Express loans, export working capital loans, and international trade loans. And again, a fantastic resource partner. If you're looking into exporting at all, you do need to talk to the Massachusetts Export Center. And so, of course, disaster relief. We know that 25% of businesses don't reopen after a major disaster. So we want to make sure that businesses are prepared. So you can go to sba.gov/prepare and, stay up to date on, the different ways that you can prepare yourself for your business and also your family for any type of disaster. But should the worst happen, we do provide billions of dollars in low interest, long-term disaster loans that help not just small businesses, but it also helps homeowners, renters, and nonprofits in disaster relief. These loans can be used for, anything from real estate, personal property, economic injury, and inventory, and a variety of other things. So we'd love for people to connect with us on our website, sba.gov/MA. That is the best source of all of our information. You can sign up for our newsletter there. And you can see all the different events that are happening around. And by signing up for the newsletter, you'll get notices of all the different events that are coming out. But certainly follow us on LinkedIn, the SBA Massachusetts District Office, and then there's our email and our phone as well. And this is my information too. So should you have any questions, feel free to follow up with me too. And I will be sure and share this with Teresa, as I said, and she can send it out to you after the fact.
So we do have I've seen 2 submitted questions asking about interest rates for loans. One of our bank fellows want to maybe address that.
Sure. I was typing. But for the 504, the current interest rate today is 5.63%. And what's great about the 504 is that can be amortized over 25 years, and the term can be up to 25 years fixed. So which is great. You have the opportunity to lock in a lower interest rate for the whole term, which is nice. Now for the 7A SBA 7A loans, they are set by the bank, so it really depends. The rate could be, and probably, we're looking between 7% and 8% right now for the 7A. I don't know if there's anything that you want to add, Seth, but I know the 7As are set by the bank.
Yeah, sure. So, interest rates go as the economy goes, as the Fed rates go. If you're looking for a loan to buy equipment and you want to use the SBA for a 504, because you can do equipment with the 504 as well, then maybe you're in the high 6s to mid 6s. If you're looking to buy real estate, 504 is a great vehicle for that, but you can do that with the 7A as well, particularly if you're going to have improvements that you're going to make to the property or other things that you're going to wrap into the overall cost of acquiring a business and a building. And real estate loans are probably high 6s to low 7s, depending. 504 is less than that. So what you'll find On the 504s, you have two rates. You have the bank's rate on the 50% first mortgage, and then you have the SBA rate on the 40%, and where they come behind us to help support that purchase. And the SBA is lower than the bank, but all banks are in the same general vicinity. I think the most important thing really is to just understand, what you need, talk to a banker. SBA is awesome. They just give you some terrific resources here in Boston and Cambridge and the surrounding areas. SCORE, those guys do the good work of helping you with a new business idea and working through things like, what is your market? Who are you going to sell to? Where are you going to get the things that you're selling, whether it's a product or a service? And the way the rhythm sort of goes is you talk to the bank says, oh my God, it's a new idea. Okay, those scare us, but let's talk a little bit about what you know. And generally people don't know a lot. And we say, you have to talk to SCORE. SCORE is amazing. They're retired executives. I always forget, it's the SCO of retired executives. So it's like, they have a lot of experience, and they come in and are generously giving their time to help you all get your business idea and your projections and your plans and your budget and everything in shape. Then you come to the bank and they say, okay, looks much better, but you're new, or you don't have collateral, or you're buying a business. SBA is wonderful to buy a business. They support that. So then we say the bank wants to do it, but we say we're afraid that there's no collateral, or you don't have experience, and we get the SBA to help us. So we're partners. The SBA and the banks and SCORE are all partners to help you. And you don't have to be a new business to utilize that. If you're growing, or you want to go international, or you want to vertically integrate into a related second business that sort of supports what you're doing, we love looking at businesses that want to grow. So you got 5 years doing your contracting business, and now you want to expand into a different area, which is related but similar. And we say, well, the existing business doesn't support it. Have you projected what you think the new business you're going to add to what you're doing will help you grow? And you say, yeah, I've thought about it a lot. I'm not, sure how, foundational my numbers are. We say, great, talk to SCORE. Let's come back. Let's get that all in order. And we love doing business acquisitions or growth. But SBA and SCORE are critical. So in terms of rates, it's funny. People always say, what's the rate? I mean, it doesn't really matter, because if rates are high, that means the economy is booming and you can charge more. If rates are low, there's other things happening, and it's all related. What you sell your product for is related to what it costs you to produce it, or your service. And to get a rate in a vacuum doesn't really mean anything. It means more in conjunction with, like, what are you going to do with the money that you're paying interest on? If you're paying 7% interest, but your profit margin is 25%, borrow the money, because you're going to make more with what you're borrowing.
Great, thanks, Seth. That was fantastic. Yeah, so does anyone have any other questions? If you want to quickly throw it in the chat, got the people here today that can help answer any of those that you might have. As Shelly explained, we will be sending out a follow-up email. It'll probably come out on Monday. It'll have the information from her slides. It'll have a link to the recording. It'll have contact information for East Cambridge Savings Bank as well, since they're our sponsors today. And we'll get as much information to you as we can, and emails that you can reach out if you still have more questions. And I don't see any other submitted questions, so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap things up for today. And thank you so much. Oh, wait, we got one. Let's see what we got. What do you see the most successful people who leverage SCORE doing? I'm going to say, I'm guessing you mean what industry, and I think we've seen it all. Success comes from doing your homework and being prepared. So
SCORE has a lot of retired executives with different specialties. So if you're getting into an import-export business, they have executives who have done this before and are very familiar with the rules and the trade and the exchange rates and things like that. If you want to get into construction or general contracting, or specialize in the trades, SCORE has wonderful executives who have run big companies that have been construction companies or painting contractors or whatever it is. So no matter what you want to do, SCORE is a great place to go. They'll find someone to help you think it through. In terms of what businesses are the best ones, impossible to say. It depends.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Just another one. to expand, where should we start? So if you're a small business looking to expand, where do you start? Well, I would say start with a SCORE mentor, because they can make sure, help you think through things, come up with a plan on how you're going to expand, find out what resources you're going to need, help you think through everything. That's kind of what we do. So tech startups often raise millions of dollars based on a vision. Could you speak to when you recommend seeking angels, VCs versus loan through banks and SBA? So I'm going to, Shelly, could you address that a little, or?
Let's see. So, I guess I'm a person who says, look at all of your your potential possibilities. We've got such a great resource partner network here. That's definitely something I would refer to a SCORE mentor, or the MSBDC. And as far as recommendations, it's hard to say, but I don't know that much about the angel capital system myself. So SBA, you know what you're getting. It's a tried and true situation, and that there are folks here to help you. So
Okay,
I don't know
great.
if that's helped. Do Seth or Robert, do you have any other?
Yeah, it's unlikely you're going to get a VC company coming in to help you with your construction business. They generally look at high tech and high growth and life sciences and things like that. Angels come in all shapes and sizes, and sometimes they're generous individuals who like to support the business community, and in other ways, they partner to, again, help some of those sort of high growth industries. But there's a cost to everything, right? So most new businesses get funded with friends and family, and the cost is, okay, now I got to go to my in-laws for Easter because they gave me some money for my business. Like, there's a cost. There's your social cost. If you go to an angel, the cost may be now you have a very wealthy investor who really wants to know everything that's going on, and now you're spending some of your time really working with that person and not as much on the business. But it's a great way to grow quickly. VC is going to take ownership of your company likely and say, okay, we'll do it, and we want to own 5% or 51% or whatever it is. Banks, weirdly, are like the lender of last resort. We come in and help people who often don't need it. True story. But seriously, it's one type of lender is not better than the other. It's related to what you do and what your growth projections and model is, and what industry you're in. And, if you're in Tennessee or Boston, and it's a hard question to answer. You should explore all options. But if you're looking for big money, high growth, angels and VCs are awesome.
And I've had a couple questions submitted about federal contracts. We actually just did an SBA federal contract webinar, and I have a tremendous amount of information. So I have taken down your names. There's, I think, 3 different people that asked about that, and I will send you all the information from that webinar, because there's a lot. It's nothing we can cover in just a quick answer. So I will get that information out to you. Took care of those. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm just looking quickly in chat to make sure we have take a workshop. I'm ready a business planner. Absolutely. I just had a question. I just got a SCORE mentor. Should I take a workshop on business plan? Absolutely. And we have a really fantastic business plan webinar. If you want to look onto the score.org/Boston website, look under local workshops previously recorded. There's a fantastic business plan webinar on there. But Angela, if you want to email me, I can send you the direct link for that. And my email is outreach@scoreboston.org. If you don't find it, and I'll make sure you get that. Is SCORE only in Boston? No, we are nationwide. So yeah, that's where the whole putting your zip code in that little score.org box there will connect you to the chapter nearest you. We also work with people from all different states. You know, any chapter will help anyone. We're not, you know, only Boston mentors only help Boston people. That's definitely not true. So,
But just to be clear, East Cambridge Savings only helps Boston people. I mean, yeah.
yes, that is true.
Massachusetts, Bob Nichols is your man. Dude's awesome. If it's outside of Boston or Metro West or North Shore or South Shore, if it's not in Massachusetts, Bob can't help you.
And I see I just got a couple more people asking about the contracting information. So I will send that out on Monday. So again, if you for some reason don't get it from me, go ahead and email me at outreach@scoreboston.org and I'll make sure you get all that information. But I have written down those names, so we should be able to get that out. Okay. All right. Well, I think that covers us. Again, if you have any questions that we didn't get to, or you think of something afterwards, email me, outreach@scoreboston.org, and I can connect you to either East Cambridge Savings Bank or Shelly at the SBA or a SCORE mentor or whoever can get that information to you. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And thank you to Shelly, Seth, and Robert. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.